Welcome. I'm Jennifer Clark, Manager of Programs and Operations here at the New York State Coalition Against Domestic Violence. And thank you for joining us for today's live stream, Realities of Domestic Violence, Raising Awareness in New York. Today, we unite to address a pressing issue that transcends boundaries, impacting lives not only within New York, but across the nation and the globe. Throughout this live stream presentation, our team of dedicated professionals will guide you through an array of crucial topics, each tailored to enhance your knowledge of the complexities of domestic violence and empower you to be part of the solution. We'll start by introducing you to Niskative, offering you an insight into our history, our mission, and the impact of our work. And from there, we'll uncover the history of Domestic Violence Awareness Month, or DVAM, which is a time dedicated to raising awareness and celebrating the strength and resilience of survivors. Most of today's live stream lies in our exploration of domestic violence itself, where we will debunk myths and present you with some harsh and honest facts. We'll delve into specific challenges and evolving trends related to domestic violence across various regions of New York, highlighting how these issues affect our communities. And we will share some survivor success stories. Finally, we'll discuss how each and every one of you can make a difference, emphasizing that every contribution, regardless of its size or form, plays a crucial role. And we will share various ways through which you can participate in raising awareness, offering support, and working towards a safer, more inclusive New York. Domestic violence is a societal challenge that necessitates collective action. And together, we aspire to create a New York free of domestic violence. So without further ado, to guide us through the next section, I'll hand things off to my colleague, Community Health Program Manager, Lauren Pierce.
Hi, welcome. It's nice to be here with you today. I'm just going to very briefly give us some context and go over the role of Niskative. My SCADV is a little bit of a mouthful, so we usually just shorten it and say Niskative. So we are a statewide membership organization, and we're founded in 1978. Our membership is comprised of local domestic violence service providers, allies, and community members who are committed to ending domestic violence through education, advocacy, and social change. We work to create and support social change that is necessary to prevent and confront all forms of domestic violence. We achieve our mission through activism, training, prevention, technical assistance, leadership development, and legislative development and advocacy. We promote best practices and broad-based collaboration, integrating anti-oppression principles across all of our work. Niskative works through coalition building, advocacy, and public policy. To do so, we engage in networking, collaboration, committees, and work groups on a local, state, and national level. We facilitate board membership across regions, including representation and advocacy. And we provide best practices, training, and technical assistance. In addition to these, we promote legislative and regulatory change. And I would like to introduce Marie Hargrove, our Training and Capacity Building Coordinator, to take us through this next section.
Thank you so much, Lauren. So you may be familiar with some other awareness months, such as breast cancer awareness or sexual assault awareness, etc. Here we're going to talk about the history of Domestic Violence Awareness Month. First observed in October 1981 as a National Day of Unity, Domestic Violence Awareness Month, DVAM, serves as a platform to discuss domestic violence, the social constructs that perpetuate violence against women, and the ways individuals and communities can stand with survivors and against domestic violence. Why do we need Domestic Violence Awareness Month? October serves as an opportunity to unite domestic violence providers across the country, along with the community, to raise awareness around domestic violence, the effects of abuse, and to raise up survivors and their stories. It takes a community to take on domestic violence, and the first step is to raise consciousness of the issues. And now we will have our Senior Training and Capacity Building Coordinator, Abigail Murat, who will provide us an overview of what is domestic violence.
Thank you, Marie. I want to take us into what is domestic violence, and the New York State Coalition Against Domestic Violence, also known as NISCDF. NISCDF defines domestic violence as a pattern of coercive behaviors or tactics that is culturally learned or socially condoned. It can include physical, sexual, psychological, and economic abuse, and it is perpetrated by one person against their intimate partner and or against a member of the same family or household. Domestic violence does not discriminate on race, social economic status, gender identity, sex, sexual orientation, ethnicity, age, religious affiliation, or social location, but rather it perpetrated by abusers from all social groups. Victims of domestic violence have the right to legal relief and supportive services. I want to dive into some types of abuse, and we'll start with physical violence. And physical violence can be categorized by kicking, hitting, punching, pushing, withholding necessary medical attention, or other acts that inhibit a victim's physical well-being. Emotional abuse can be categorized as name-calling, put-downs, humiliation, and other acts that seek to lower a victim's self-esteem. Psychological abuse can be categorized by using threats, playing mind games, making a victim think that he or she or they is crazy, and other acts that instill fear in the victim. Economic abuse can be categorized by preventing the victim from maintaining a job, controlling their money, bank accounts, or assets belonging to the family, making the victim completely responsible for bringing in the income to the family, or other acts that set up a financial dependence in the relationship. Some additional types of abuse include sexual abuse, which can be categorized as forcing a victim to engage in non-consensual sexual acts, withholding sex, or other acts that exploit a victim's right to express their sexuality. Isolation can be categorized by preventing a victim's contact with their family and friends, relocating a victim to a new location, controlling a victim's interaction with people, or other acts that separate a victim from their support networks. Stalking can be categorized by repeated and unnecessary contact via text messages, phone calls, email, or social media. Plan appearances at places that a victim frequents, monitoring through the use of technology, or other acts that control a victim's movement or induces fear. If you or someone you know are in need of help, there are several ways that you can seek help. You can use the New York State Domestic Violence Program Directory to find a domestic violence service program across the state. You can call a confidential domestic violence hotline for crisis help, safety planning, emotional support, or help finding resources in your area, including safe shelter, advocacy, counseling, and legal assistance. The New York State Domestic Violence Hotline has access to advocates in 170 languages through interpreter services. Next slide, please. For state and national domestic violence hotline numbers, the New York State Domestic and Sexual Violence 24-hour hotline, available in English and Spanish, multi-language accessibility, is at 1-800-942-6906, or you can dial 711 for deaf or hard of hearing. National Domestic Violence 24-hour hotline is at 1-800-799-7233 or 1-800-787-3224 for the toll-free number. For the National Deaf Hotline, video phone is available from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday at 855-812-1001 or deafhelp@thehotline.org. I want to now introduce my colleague, Esmeralda Pena, and Esmeralda is going to take us through myths and realities of domestic violence. Esmeralda?
Thank you so much, Abigail. Thank you, everyone, and I hope everyone is having a wonderful evening tonight. I am going to go over myths and realities of domestic violence. As we know, myths are things that are not true, and I am going to go over some of these myths that have been said about domestic violence. First myth. If someone is in a real domestic violence situation, they will leave. This is untrue. Many survivors have stayed in domestic violence relationship and they are experiencing real domestic violence as they stay in their relationship. The second myth is domestic violence does not affect children in the household. Again, this is not true. Many children who are experiencing domestic violence at home because they're living there with the abusive partner, they are affected by the abuse they're witnessing at home. Myth number 3, domestic violence is not a serious problem in New York State. This is also not true. Every day in New York State, we are experiencing high volumes of domestic violence. And now I am going to take it back to my colleague, Marie, who's going to go over domestic violence in New York.
Thank you so much, Esmeralda. So we're going to talk about DV in New York, just New York. So as we know, there are 50 states. And with this information, keep this in mind. For 6 of the past 7 years, New York State has had the highest demand for domestic violence services in the country. In just one day in 2022, 9,157 survivors of domestic violence across New York received help from domestic violence programs. Advocates answered 1,572 hotline calls. On that same day, 951 requests for help went unmet because programs did not have the resources available. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Esmeralda to talk a little bit about some survivor success stories.
Thank you so much, Marie. Now I'm going to go over survivor success stories. One survivor's success story is, we provided a client with basic necessities, safety planning, assistance with an order of protection, and a lease termination, counseling, referrals, and more. They told us, I came in today feeling so defeated, and I leave feeling hopeful. I don't know that I didn't deserve this and that I'm worthy of love and respect. I cannot thank you enough. You may find this success story at the New York Survey Report, NDDV Count Surveys 2022. An organization has worked with an immigrant survivor for several years, offering basic need, housing, transportation, financial assistance, and even a specialized attorney to guide her through the citizenship process. She now has her green card and her divorce is in process. She told us, I feel like I'm finally getting my life back. I look forward to what the future has to bring. This success story can be found at the New York Survey Report and the DDB Count Survey 2020. An advocate in New York said, a survivor called us elevated. She said that thanks to our ongoing assistance, we had remotely advised and supported her with a child support enforcement case. She now had a judgment against her abuser, and he had made the first payment. It was the first significant payment she has seen since 2006. Again, this story, you may find it at the New York Survey Report. A pregnant woman entered shelter with her 3 children. When she went into labor, she feared her family would lose their beds. We assured her she had a place to return. This is despite not getting reimbursement from the open beds, and welcomed them back with a baby basket to foster a sense of normalcy. They are now in transitional housing and receive continuous support. The success story can be found at the New York Survey Report and NDDV Count Surveys 2018. And now I'm going to hand it to my colleague, Abigail, who is going to go over with you how you can help.
Thank you, Esmeralda. Hello, everybody. Once again, I'm Abigail, and I want to go over the ways that you can help and bring awareness to domestic violence. To help raise awareness of domestic violence, we want you to follow our social media accounts and share with your networks. You can share and follow our accounts through the following ways: through Facebook at NYS Coalition Against Domestic Violence. We also have a Twitter page at NYSCADV. You can follow our Indeed at NYSCADV or our Instagram at NYS_CADV. You can also check out our podcast available on all streaming platforms titled Voices Against Violence, Advocacy and Focus. You can check out our prevention toolkit, which is NISCAD's online primary prevention toolkit. Contains of repositories of tools, resources, and strategies that can be utilized to support prevention strategies on a local, regional, and state level. To support local domestic violence service providers and programs, connect with your local DV program for potential volunteer opportunities or make a donation. See our program directory on our website. To support NISCAD, please consider fundraising or supporting our events. You can host your own fundraiser, or you can visit our Support Us webpage for updated opportunities, or you can also make a donation. To support NISCAD and your local programs on Give for DV Day for Giving, which occurs October 26, 2023, you can consider starting your own fundraiser, or you can go to givefordv.nnedv.org/NYSCADV. By giving, you're not only making a financial contribution, but you're also sending powerful messages of solidarity to survivors. And now I would like to pass it over to Jennifer Clark, who is going to close us out. Jennifer?
Thank you, Abby, and thank you everyone for joining us today. Another way to stay connected is you can sign up for our monthly newsletter, which is located on our website at www.nyscadv.org. Thank you again and have a wonderful evening.